Welcome back to the Bluechip Breakdown, Vols fans. I'm your host, Bull. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about Jim Harbaugh officially stepping down from Michigan and what that could mean for Tennessee's football team. Now, some of y'all have asked about this, and we've talked about it a couple of times on this channel previously, that we don't really feel like Tennessee's going to be targeting any more players until that spring window opens up. But just for fun, we could talk about some players that Tennessee might try to target from Michigan now that Coach Harbaugh has stepped down. So, number one, it does sound like they're going to be trying to get a head coach in-house. So that means that a lot of those players probably will not want to leave Michigan. And, also we have to take a look at what positions Tennessee would be targeting if they do try to go out and get somebody from Michigan's roster. Well, number one, we could maybe use a tight end or two, okay, especially if it's a younger guy. And then number two, we could also use a defensive tackle if they are younger. But the biggest need for Tennessee is a left guard. So as far as what Michigan currently has on their roster, their entire starting offensive line is entering into the NFL draft. So there's not a whole lot of talent for us to choose from that perspective as far as guys who have actually started, in Power 5 football. Now, as we begin to start to take a look at some of the other positions that Tennessee could be targeting, along with the left guard position, we'll start in the class of 2021. And the only player that I see for Michigan's roster in this class that Tennessee could potentially target would be Rahe Anderson. He is an offensive guard, 6'3", 316 pounds. He was a four-star coming out of high school, and he would be a senior, I believe, if he did come to Tennessee next season. Now, he is from Cass Tech High School up there in Michigan. Those players seem like they always just go to Michigan. They've got some sort of a very strong pipeline there. I don't think that he would leave. And, he could be a guy that Tennessee could potentially use, but I just don't really see us doing that just yet. I think that we might try to go out and target someone that would have more interest in Tennessee. So let's move on to 2022. And there are a few players in this class that I could see Tennessee trying to target, maybe. All right, so number one would be Mason Graham. He is a defensive tackle. He can also play strong side defensive end in our system. We know that we're trying to find one of those. Okay, 6'3", 318 pounds, a four-star coming out of high school. He's from Anaheim, California, and he's racked up 5.5 sacks over the past 2 seasons. He would be coming in, I believe, as a junior if he decided to come to Tennessee. Next player is Colston Loveland. He's a tight end, 6'5", 245 pounds. He was also a four-star coming out of high school, and he's from Idaho, so there's no real Tennessee ties right there as far as I know. He had 45 catches, 649 yards, and 4 touchdowns this past season. Now, he's a guy that I did actually get a chance to watch. He looks like he's a lot taller than 6'5". Looks like he's 6'7", 6'8". Looks really tall. He moves really well. Would this be a guy that Tennessee wants to target? Probably not, because we've already got 2 good tight ends that I believe one's going to be a sophomore and the other one's going to be a junior, right? So Ethan Davis, I think he's going to be a sophomore, and then Holden Stays. He's either going to be a sophomore or he's going to be a junior, but we've got some good young pieces right there. And if we bring in this guy right here in Colston Loveland, he's going to want to play. He's going to want to start. And if we do something like that, we're going to be pushing other guys out the door. So if he does come in, he will be coming in as a junior. Okay, I just don't really see that happening. I think he's probably going to be staying put because he does have a pretty high draft stock right now for his class. And obviously he already knows that offense that Michigan's probably going to continue to run. So I think that he's going to stay where he is for now. Next player is Kenneth Grant. He is a defensive end / defensive tackle. Okay, very similar to Mason Graham, 6'3", 339 pounds. He's really going to be more of a tackle. He was a four-star coming out of high school, and he had 3.5 sacks this past season. He's from Indiana. There are, maybe a little bit of Tennessee ties with Indiana. I've kind of seen that over my years, but again, I don't see him moving away from the team that he's already been playing with. Okay, he's already got some playing time. He's gotten into the mix up there at Michigan. So he's not a guy that I would see Tennessee probably trying to target, and I also don't see him wanting to come to Tennessee either. So probably not going to happen. Now let's move on to 2023, okay? The first guy is going to be Cameron Brent. He's another defensive tackle / end body, 6'4", 277 pounds. He was a four-star coming out of high school, and he's from California. Now, this is a guy that maybe, I don't know if there's any real ties with him and Tennessee, but if there are, that would be a guy that I would think that Tennessee would like to reach out to, because we can use some younger tackles, and he would definitely fit that mold. Okay, he's going to be a good player that we kind of, throw into the rotation early on, but obviously he wouldn't be much of a playmaker for us. I would not think in 2024, again, for the tackles, it's going to be a whole lot more about 2025 and 2026. But again, I really don't think Tennessee's going to be adding any of the guys that I've just mentioned. So, I'm just going to add him to the list of guys that we're probably not going to be targeting. And also in the 2023 class, we've got Amir Herring, who was an offensive tackle coming out of high school, 6'3", 300 pounds. He was a 4-star, and he is from Michigan. Now, some of y'all might be saying, okay, well, we don't really need any tackles, and that's true, but sometimes coaches will go out and target a tackle, especially one like this who is a little bit on the shorter side, and then you bump him to the inside because usually tackles have, better footwork, and they've, got a little bit of a better skill set to be able to play other offensive line positions. So we could try to target him and, see if he could be an upgrade compared to what we already have. But I do honestly feel like, man, the staff is fine with what we got in 2023 and in 2024. We just got to wait to see what these guys are going to do. So would Tennessee target him? Potentially. Okay, I haven't heard anyone say that we are going to be targeting him, but he would just be another name to add to the list of guys that if we were going to be trying to target someone from their roster, I think that he would be one that we could throw into the mix. All right, and next guy is Deacon Tony Elli. He's a tight end, 6'6", 215 pounds, also a 4-star coming out of high school. He's from Illinois. Now, this would be a guy for sure that I think that Tennessee could and, maybe even should target because we can use some more depth, okay, behind our current starters in Holden Stays and Ethan Davis. Now, we do already have a tight end in the 2024 class, but again, maybe we could add some more depth to the 2023 class, which is actually, that's the class that Ethan Davis came in. So, would he want to come in and potentially kind of sit behind 2, maybe 3 guys, try to fight for a spot? Probably not, because I think that he's going to be looking at it right now this season. Now, I don't know a whole lot about really any of these guys, but I would say that he should kind of be, in the mix as far as being able to get some solid playing time this season at Michigan. And then, he's also got Loveland, who's going to be going on to the NFL draft next season. So he's probably eyeing that, saying, well, I already know this system. I've got a good chance to maybe get into the rotation in 2024, and then 2025 should be his season. All right, and the last guy for 2023 is going to be Nathan Ifobe. He is an interior offensive lineman, 6'4", 282 pounds. He's a 3-star coming out of high school. Now, the reason that I put him on this list is because he's from Cumming, Georgia, and we know that that is within Tennessee's footprint, okay? And I know that, Cumming is an area that there are a lot of Tennessee fans. Actually, if you look at his 24/7 Sports profile picture, he's visiting Tennessee. So he is a guy that Tennessee was targeting, and if he is a good enough player, if we think that he could come in and help us out, then yeah, why not reach out to him? He should already know this staff pretty well, and we would have I would think, a pretty solid chance to be able to go out and get him. Now, how much does he like being up at Michigan? With all that snow, it's a whole different, world up there compared to the South. So he might not like it. He might want to try to come closer to home. So I would say that he would be, maybe out of most of these guys, he's probably a guy that we would have a chance to get. But again, he's only a 3-star. Everyone else on this list, they're all blue chip players, which is, 4 and 5 stars. And y'all know that we don't put a whole lot of stock into, the star ratings from other sites, but, there is something to be said about it. And with him not being one of these blue chip types of players, he's probably not going to be able to win out versus any other guards that we already have currently on this roster, because I do think that we've got some really good studs, especially in the 23 class and the 24 class. All right, so the last guy that we'll be talking about today is in the 2024 class, and that's Mason Curtis. He's an outside linebacker, listed at 6'4", 200 pounds, 4-star coming out of high school, and he is coming from Innsworth High School, which is in Nashville. So obviously that is a school that Tennessee is going to be targeting players from every single season, because they constantly have really good blue chip players coming out of that program. Now, he's a guy that Tennessee did target early on. Obviously, he decided to go to Michigan. I'm not sure if he is already on campus up there at Michigan, but obviously with him being from Tennessee, maybe he would consider coming back home just because of the coaching change. Again, they are kind of planning on keeping their next head coach in-house. So we don't know if that is going to be something that would, maybe keep him around, or again, if he would consider coming back home to Tennessee. So I can almost guarantee you that this is a guy that Tennessee has reached out to, okay, especially knowing that Michigan is about to be losing their head coach. Okay, we've known that for maybe like the past couple of weeks. So I'm sure that Tennessee has tried to, reach out and gauge what his interest level is. And if there is any interest, then, we will try to get him in on a visit and see if we can't seal the deal. Again, He has until tomorrow to get enrolled in classes, but I can tell you this, the football teams always have a lot of pull, especially in the SEC, and they can make things happen. If they really want somebody, you know, that drop ad date, it's just kind of there, okay? It's not really there for the football players, it's more so there for the regular students. They can find ways to get guys in if they want to. So we'll see how everything plays out with that. But again, guys, whenever you take a step back and look at this whole list, these all look like some really good football players, but Tennessee already has a lot of good football players. I really like the way that our current roster is looking heading into the spring, and it sounds like the staff does as well. So the chances of us trying to target any guys from Michigan or anywhere else before spring, I think that it's very, very slim, okay? So we'll keep a close eye out on it though, okay? If anything does come across our desk, we will bring it back to this channel and we'll let y'all know. But as always, thank y'all so much for tuning into this channel. Please make sure to like, subscribe, share with your friends, family, and other volunteer fans, and we'll see y'all in the next one. Thanks. Peace.